Welcome to No Fugazee podcast. State your name and where you from.
Yeah, my name Kevin, and I'm from Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay, Kev, from Cleveland, Ohio. You here to debate?
Yeah, I was tuning in, and I just got two questions or 2 points for the debate. Would
Okay, what's
be
your 2 points?
uh, do you believe that perception is reality?
Oh,
Hmm.
no, perception. It's perception is not reality. Reality is very, very hard to explain. Perception is your reality, and if you have a wide you said perception. Normally,
Hmm.
perception is the person's reality of how they view the world. That's what I would say.
Okay.
So it's
Uh,
only how the individual views the world. So all of us, the unique thing about all human beings is that we all have a different perception. We all perceive things differently. If we all say me and you on a train and it's 50 of
okay.
us on a train, me, you, and 50 other people on a train, that train flips over, none of us dies. But it's so tragic, we're all going to perceive things differently. It could be 20 people that never want to ride a train again. Me and you may be fine. We be like, oh
Right.
no, nigga, we hop on the next train. But it's gonna be people that may have PTSD from it. So perception is unique, meaning that it's unique to each individual and is different.
Okay. So my
Yeah.
next point would be when you the delivery of how you say God over men, man over women, women over children. I think that from the last two guests, the point that they're really trying to make is in stating that hierarchy, um, it stems from a belief system, and then looking at that consciousness and that source, um, the model that you're explaining with having that, I think that we're missing the fact of the leadership aspect, just being involved with you have men and you have women, but I wouldn't say that the man would be over women in the sense of purpose. When somebody is following their gift or following their God-given purpose, there's no there's no being over a person because we wouldn't be in a sense created in that sense. We're not created in a sense to dominate over people. We've been created in a sense to dominate in our area of gifting or that initial purpose that we have. So in the sense of let's just say I have a purpose, you have a purpose, and let's just say we have daughters and they grow up and they're going to want to figure out what is it that I'm here to do. And in the sense of say we're all in the job title or just like in a pool of in competition for work.
Okay.
How can you differentiate the two in a woman having her purpose, what she feels she's actually here to do, compared to a male having his purpose and what I'm here to do? Why would you create why would you be pro I mean, well, how could you create I feel like you kind of create kind of like
So I think I get what you're saying. You're saying like, how can you have this order of hierarchy when every individual has a purpose? How can every individual truly follow their purpose if someone is above them?
yeah, because in a sense,
I got you.
I would
Well,
say that the
let's
woman
stop it.
wasn't. Well, hold on. Let me make this last point. I
Okay,
would
yeah,
say
land
that
your
the
plane. Go
woman.
ahead. Yeah.
I wouldn't say that the woman was not created not equally, but in the sense of her strength. When you speak on the fact that the biological makeup of the woman, and then you relate it to the biblical aspect, we all have to look at the fall. And when you look at the fall, and you look at that's where the reality that we live in, we come we've come to agreement that okay, since the fall of man, we have a social construct in the way that the woman is perceived in the fact of her being put behind that man. So in the sense of when you speak from I think the guy mentioned a Judeo-Christian point of view. Well, when you just speak just in the sense of Christology, just dealing with the Bible and looking at that fall of man and looking at women, we have in a sense created a narrative in that because in that fall, just because she's fell from the dominion of responsibility. You know, the responsibility she has. I don't think that. I just think that your delivery when it comes to that, it's just a little off to me, man. And I can't understand how can you, you know, how can you deliver a message about masculinity when it, sometimes I think in the fact it's a little too, it's hyper masculine and it's subjective, you know. So yeah, I kind of answered your question. I was kind of going
Nah,
on
you
and on.
good, man. I'll let you
Let me
go
pass
on.
the mic back.
You all good, bro. I'll let you get it all out. I wanted to understand you, fully understand you, and get exactly what you. I think I understood you in like the first two sentences, but people be saying I'll be cutting people off, so try to get a
You
little bit
good?
better for y'all.
I kind of was going on and on. Yeah, I
But
gotta get used to this live stream. I'm trying to get
all
used to
good,
the
man.
live
It's
stream.
I'm sure, and that's the other thing too. I have to be understanding that there's many people that they join a live stream and that's their first time joining the live stream, and they really haven't spoke on a public platform and stuff like that. So I'm understanding, bro. With that being said, I am understanding. So let's get to the first point, right? You're speaking about tone policing. You're saying that the delivery, right? So think about what I'm doing right now for you. What I've allowed for you right now. You came in, you went on a long monologue speaking about some things, and I gave you grace. I allowed grace, and I allowed you to fully land your plane and get it all out. So that's giving grace. You get what I'm saying? That's being considerate. So when I'm speaking, the truth is this: it doesn't matter how you say things. It's the fact of what's being said, right? 2 + 2 is 4. Doesn't matter if I say 2 + 2 and a dinosaur just ate your head is 4, it's still 4. You get what I'm saying? It's like, it's still the truth. Now let's take it a step back real quick before we talk about the tone policing. The other thing I think I don't think you're aware of, but I think I'm aware of it, because you kept saying that you have a problem with the word over. Like, how can the man be over this individual? And I think it's the way that you're perceiving over. It's your perception. Yes, it's your perception of over. My perception of over, when I speak about it, it isn't from a oppression standpoint. Like, we are the person under us that, he's oppressed. Just because we're over, it doesn't mean that the person below us is being oppressed. That's just not true. You know what I mean? Even from a societal standpoint, that's just not true. Like, the people that, live in mansions and, eating good. Put it like this. We live in a first world country. Are we oppressing these third world countries? No, we're not. But we're over them. Like, you get what I'm saying?
I would say, but then I would say we are, just in the base of just looking at the American government system.
Well, no,
corrupt.
it's how you perceive it. It's perception. You asked the question. That was your question when you came in. You said, well, do you think perception is reality? And I came and told you straight up, perception is not reality. Perception is unique to every individual, and it's how they view the world. This is the reality of things. The reality is this. This is true reality. Life is a competition. Life isn't about oppression and oppressor or any of that. Life is about a competition, and guess what? We're all competitors in life. It's just the way it is. It's how human beings tend to perceive things. Why do you think that we perceive time? Meaning like, it's our natural body cycle. We get hungry at certain points of time. After we eat and drink, we got to take a piss and take a dump at certain points in time. It's just how our biology and how our consciousness perceive things. We're always measuring things. So with that being said, since we can't operate if we don't measure things, right? Think about it. We'll be eating all day, and say if we have no measuring system. Well, when would we know to pee? When would we know to poop? When would would that urge be there, or would that urge go away? So the reality is this. It doesn't get more truthful than this, young brother. I want to tell you this. Life is a competition, because a competition is all about measuring things, and that's how we perceive life in general. That's the only way we can have any type of perception of stuff. With that being said, let's cycle it all back into the hierarchy of God over man, man over woman, woman over children. The reason why man is above women, let's not even speak about the physical stuff or any of the mental stuff. The reason why is because women want us there. Women would not truly love a man and admire a man and respect a man if she don't view that nigga as being above. It just ain't gonna work. If she viewed a nigga as being below, she's gonna look for another nigga. We all know this. This is just the game. This is just how it works. So with that being said, now we could speak about it from the man's purview, right?
Okay.
Well, and from the biology and stuff like that. I already went through it. Men, we're generally speaking, we're better at regulating our emotions than women because we're lower in estrogen, we're higher in testosterone. Men, from a physical standpoint, we're stronger than women. We have quicker reflexes. We're faster than women in so many different areas. Our lungs is bigger than women. So many different things from a physical standpoint. This is why we are superior. Women get scared of the dark. Guess what? We ain't have lights thousands of years ago. Was they out hunting in the dark? No, niggas ain't scared of the dark. Niggas like, man, I'm gonna go ahead and still kill that gazelle because I'm hungry. Women wasn't doing that. So from all standpoints that you can look at it, any way you try to fathom it, we're above women. I think you just have to get over the word over. Like we're over women. You got to get rid of, and you got to stop looking at things in a disdain view and like an oppression view. You got to understand that life is competition.
Well, I just don't. It's not that I don't view life as a competition, but when I feel that, okay, I always look at it like this. I would like to live a life of fulfillment, and living a life of fulfillment and living effectively. I don't necessarily have to compete because when I'm operating in that effectiveness or your gift, you know, everything that's tied to that is naturally going to come to you. You're going to naturally just attract it. And I think that in a sense of...
So let's have a back and forth now. Yeah, no, it isn't subjective. I'll tell you how that doesn't even make sense. You are in competition. You're in competition with yourself. Over the hardest competition is yourself. Okay. Yeah, you're competing with other people, but guess what? You have these natural proclivities and these natural urges to get horny at certain times. Of just randomly, even at night, you wake up with a woody. If you got enough testosterone, you got to fight the urge to not masturbate. So you're in competition to not beat your meat. Because if you beating your meat, there's other niggas that ain't beating their meat, so they have more time to be more productive. You get what I'm saying? So your biggest competition is yourself. I just use that as an example. But there's so many things that we're competing with. Guess what? You're competing with the past. Right? So past, if you dwell on a past, it creates depression. If you dwell on a future, it creates anxiety. So you are competing within your own mind to stabilize yourself, to balance your own self. Because if not, you'll fall into depression by thinking about, you know, your past traumas or past adversities that you went to. If not, you'll be thinking about the future. Oh, I got to hand in this test. Oh, I got to, file these papers into the office when I go there because the boss wants this at this certain time. So you'll become a victim within your own mind if you don't understand that you are in competition with yourself, and that's the biggest competition. That is a fact. The other thing is we got to just understand that, bro. You have to be the best version of yourself, because if not, it's someone else that's trying to be the best version of their self. And we have this system where if you ain't the best version of yourself, there's going to be someone else that's going to compete you, that's going to get higher pay. There's going to be someone else that's going to bag that chick that you wanted. There's going to be someone else that's going to get that job that you wanted. We're always competing. There's going to be someone else that's eating that food, that filet mignon steak. We know it costs $80. Other nigga can afford it, but you can't. Competition.
Okay. I mean, I can see that. I can see the sense of that sense of just competing. But I mean, in the sense of let's touch back on the sense of in the hierarchy, in the sense of I had stated the fall, and okay, from that point with women and men, I was taught, you know, just in my hermeneutics of thing, interpreting the Bible, that that in that sense of the fall, women weren't necessarily weaker than men. They were created just as equally, but they just submit their power to us.
So So you're talking about the fall. You're talking about prior to the fall, prior to Adam and Eve biting the apple, let's say. Prior to the fall of man. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, we have to take it there because that's where your model
we can take it there. From.
The model that you stated, it stems from some sense of that Abrahamic religion, the Christocentric type of view. So I had to go back there. I had to go back there because that's the initial source of where you're getting your belief system from. I believe that reality stems from your belief system. So when you mention the fact of influence, even your influence stems from a belief system, and
Yep,
that's
it
where
all does. Yeah, it's
and and,
the
and
thing
that's
is,
where
I
that's where
know.
the
Yeah,
okay.
I know where my epistemology comes from. I know
Okay.
most people don't. Most people don't even know what the word epistemology even means. I
I'm
truly know.
following you.
So what I'm saying is, let's just go back to the point that you were making when you're talking about prior to the fall of mankind. We
Okay.
know that prior to the fall of mankind, that the woman was still under the man, is because the woman came from the man. It wasn't the opposite way around. If we're speaking from the Abrahamic faiths, from the Torah, we
Okay.
know this even, scientifically. Even scientifically, we know this. It's proven even scientifically. We also know that from that story prior to the fall, that the woman was more susceptible to outside influences. This is why the serpent was able to influence her and not influence Adam. Adam
Okay.
was
Okay.
on the planet way before Eve. He was never influenced, right? Once Eve came around, then that's when the serpent was like, oh, we have a weaker being than Adam. Let's go after this being, the woman, and influence her and get her to eat from the forbidden fruit. So then Eve
Right.
eats and is like, hey, Adam, you want to eat? So the reality is this: women are more susceptible to outside influences, and men, so they should be mindful of outside influences, right? Because they're just more susceptible to it. When we see this even in our culture, women hold 80% of the consumer debt, meaning that they spend the most money, meaning that advertisers, they know this. So they're like, wait, women are easier to sell to, meaning that they're easier to influence. Let's go ahead and market all of our things towards women because we know that they're more easier influence. Men, we are naturally more non-agreeable, which is an A-type personality trait, which is inherently more masculine. You got some testosterone. You got nuts. Someone tells you something, it's like, you're going to question it. I'm not really too fast to believe this, nigga. I need more information. Women
Okay.
don't got nuts. She got nothing down there. Oh, wow, that looks good and smells nice and looks beautiful. Sure, I'll
Okay.
take it. So I say all of that to say that women are more susceptible to outside influences, so they need to be mindful of, what they're being influenced by. But guess what? Men are more susceptible to women because Adam was influenced by the woman. Think about it. We see a chick. She could have a little attitude, but she got that small waist and them hips looking crazy and that fatty fatting. And you like, oh, dang, I need it. I got to have it. I want it. Bro, logic goes out the window and you end up talking to a chick that's masculine, that's smacking you in Walmart and disrespecting you, all because she got the fat cheeks. You get what I'm saying? So we both have areas that we lack in at the end of the day. So if you like that clip and you want to watch more, click right here. But if you want to watch the full episode, click right here.